Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly for pricing at tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a 2021 model year launch based on the 2017 Tudor Black Bay Chronograph. This is the Chronograph with the inverse Panda dial. So the Black Bay Chrono Panda is still 41 millimeters in diameter in stainless steel, now with a Panda dial, and here with a Bund strap. Two different ways to measure the thickness. It's either 16.2 millimeters with the strap. Case alone, it's 14.4 millimeters. It is 50.3 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, and the spacing between the lugs is 22 millimeters. Throw it on the wrist, and it's impressive. The Bund strap, pioneered by NATO aviators in Europe during the 1960s. It's designed to protect the wrist from the extreme temperatures that occur at altitude that could otherwise be conducted to the wrists. That's why this is used. So the timepiece sits nicely on the wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. It does wear a little bit larger because of the Bund. You can put this on a conventional strap or even the bracelet and it'll wear a little bit more compact. As it is on this strap, I'd recommend it for a wrist of 15 centimeters circumference or larger. I think you could get away with a 14 centimeter circumference wrist with a more conventional strap or bracelet. Taking a look at the strap, it is impressive, and if you wish, you can pretty easily disassemble it, as the backing portion is separate from the strap itself. So if you wish to wear it as a conventional strap, all you do is you pull the strap out just like that. Now it becomes a watch on a conventional strap. It's very simple. That's how you get the fit on a smaller wrist. You get your choice. You have both, the best of both worlds. The strap is nicely made. It has a suede, distressed, very raw leather profile on the top. It really looks like something that would have been issued for military aviation. A lot of the original pores and defects of the original animal hide are still present, and it has almost a burnished sort of patina to it, even though it is a Tudor factory strap in outstanding condition. It has a contrasting stitch, which is typical of aviator straps, and then a shear cut side showing the layers of leather, and there are quite a few. We have contrasting binding and stitch that run all the way through the midsection, and then we have a Tudor shield style deployant clasp. And as I always mention with these, you have ceramic pin snaps, so over time the tolerances remain tight. The steel cannot wear down the ceramic. There's some character lines molded into the side, and you can see that we have a combination of satin and polish. It's a single fold deployant to avoid dropping your watch, but it features this Tudor shield logo, the post-1968 Tudor logo. Curiosity about these Tudor watches, since they went to in-house calibers, you typically get the rose, the old pre-1968 logo on the crown, and then the Tudor shield on the dial. But the funny thing about this watch is it isn't actually an in-house caliber. This is the Breitling B01 chronograph, modified by Tudor, and we'll talk about how in a moment. Now, the watch includes a tachymeter outboard, so while it is named Black Bay, it's not a dive watch. It's a motorsports chronograph. It has screw-down chronograph pushers, and it retains the 200-meter water resistance of the standard Black Bays, but be advised, it's not a diver. Now, the bezel insert is in anodized aluminum here, and you can see it gives it a more traditional vintage look. The case band is polished. We have those little bevels that are characteristic of Tudor Black Bays to remind you of the era when Rolex and Tudor used the same cases and they were hand beveled. These are not hand beveled, but then again, modern Rolex cases don't have bevels. These mechanical bevels are a throwback to a kinder, gentler time. The lugs are actually quite spare and narrow when you view them head on, but they are broad and sheer in profile. There's also satination on their tops, a vintage design cue. We have screw down pushers for the chronograph, giving this watch a little bit of a late 60s, early 70s oyster case Daytona vibe. Now, the watch does include a few changes to the B01 Caliber. The most obvious one is the one you see on the dial. This twin register design has a 45-minute counter rather than the B01 standard 30-minute counter. The dial base is matte black. There's a silver vintage-inspired chaptering outboard with upscale applied indices. We have Tudor Snowflake Submariner style hands, or at least for the hour we do. That's another nod to vintage Tudor watches. The dials are dished in silver, and then we have a little bit of red, 200 meters, 660 feet. It's close. It's not an exact conversion, but it's close. We also have a date disc. The watch features a quick set date and hacking seconds. remove this little glove here and demonstrate some of the functions of the watch. The timepiece includes a vertical clutch and a column wheel. By the way, nothing to see through the case back, solid case back, but the movement, which Tudor calls MT5813, has the, I'm probably going to have to wind it too, the things you forget, but it has the MT5813 movement, which is based on the Breitling B01. And I guess before I jump into the features that are common, I should talk about the differences. This watch has the 45-minute chronograph register rather than the 30. It features a free-sprung balance rather than a mobile stud index. And it uses a silicone hairspring rather than the ferrous hairspring that's used by the Breitling. These are all changes that Tudor makes for its use. Now, common features. Both B01 and the MT5813 use a vertical clutch to engage the chronograph, which means it engages seamlessly without jump, and you can leave the chronograph running full-time without any extra wear on the movement. Both of them use a column wheel for crisp actuation. It feels crisp, it sounds crisp. Both of them have an 8 beat per second rate, and so that's considered a modern 28/8 rate. Both of them are COSC chronometer certified, so we've got that going. And I have to say, all things considered, it is an outstanding movement. It's even a good-looking movement. You can't see it, but I've seen it, and it is a good-looking movement. All of that inside a sizable and handsome vintage-inspired case and pivoting on 41 jewels. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this Tudor Black Bay Chronograph Panda.